Good morning, everybody. This morning's devotional text is Matthew chapter 24. We're starting at verse 36 and taking it to the end. We have broken this chapter into three separate segments, and the first two, everything up to this point, has been Jesus talking about what the end days are going to look like, or more accurately, what's going to happen between now and the end days. But he's been very clear from the beginning that our focus should be less about when and more about what we're doing between now and then. He says that we're supposed to be focused on sharing the good news of the kingdom. And so at verse 36, we see Jesus affirming that when he says, "However, no one knows the day or the hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son himself. Only the Father knows." Jesus will go on from this point on to explain or describe that when the second coming does happen, it will be abrupt. No one will be able to predict it. Nobody will be ready for it, which means we should always be ready for it. He ends the chapter beginning at verse 45 with a parable about waiting and about our responsibility as servants to feed other servants. And that if we fail in our responsibility while the master is away, there'll be consequences. This reminds me a little bit of how Jesus addressed the disciples in the book of Acts. It was after the resurrection, and the disciples are anxious to know when the second coming will happen. And this is what he says at verse 6 in chapter 1. "So when the disciples were with Jesus, they kept asking him, 'Lord, has the time come for you to free Israel and restore our kingdom?' He replied, 'The Father alone has the authority to set those dates and times, and they are not for you to know. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses, telling people about me everywhere, in Jerusalem, throughout Judea, in Samaria, and to the ends of the earth.'" Jesus' point is that we're not supposed to be worried about when this whole story wraps up. We're supposed to be worried about our role, our responsibility of sharing the good news. I have to admit to you that I get frustrated by people who spend a lot of time reading the book of Revelation trying to figure out when the end day is coming. Jesus has just made clear to us, you cannot figure it out, and it's not for you to know. And in fact, if you arrogantly think you've figured it out, then you're missing the mission that Jesus has called you to. We have one responsibility: to love others as Christ loves us. So, keeping that as your one and only goal, go and be a bright and shining light in a world that so desperately needs to know about the love of Christ. Have a great day, everyone. If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.